Sorry guys, I'm just trying to get my mic, make sure my sound is on. Good morning, Sherry. How are you today? Can you hear me okay? All right, good. Thank you. All right, hope everybody's doing good this morning. I had a really rough night last night. I'm on very little sleep. I don't know what's wrong. This whole week has been that way. So I'm on low energy. If I feel like I'm just being off in my practice this morning, I'm not sure how long I'll be on, but this one's definitely going to take more than a day. It's not as hard as you think. Good. I'm glad you're doing good. That makes me happy. I'm looking for my eraser, and I don't know if I can find it. It's just rolled off my desk somewhere, I think. I've got a little spot right there, and I don't want to use a standard eraser, but I don't know where my kneaded eraser went to. Don't you just love that? I don't want to leave a mark on it. And they always seem to. It just makes it worse. See, it just smears it on this paper. Messes it up. Make sure I don't have any place else. But good morning, everybody. It's Tammy. The tracer is in the group. Good morning, Laura. Good morning, Andrea. I put the tracer in the group yesterday. I forgot to draw off her shoulder. Let me see if I can see what I did with my pencil now. I was busy cleaning up my desk. Just want to make sure we've got this in here appropriately. And pull that over just a bit. Nope, don't want that eraser. Make sure y'all have a kneaded eraser there. I really need to lighten that up now, but I don't want to scrub on this. Sometimes if you take a dirty eraser and rub it on a piece of paper towel, it'll get some of the dirty off. Just make sure your towel is clean. Here we go. That's what I wanted. Okay. We should be in good shape now. Let's see. I forgot to do this hand. I'm just going to put my tracer up here and do this real quick, guys. I don't know if I can line this up even now. I'll probably get this off. Probably don't have it lined up. This is a reference photo from This is a reference photo from Unsplash. If you're not familiar with Unsplash, Unsplash is a site where you can get free reference photo, royalty-free reference photos. And I just plugged in what I wanted, and I got several choices. And now some of them you have to be careful of because they come from other sites. They plug in other sites that are not free, so you have to make sure that it's a royalty-free one. It won't let you buy it anyway. It won't let you download it anyways unless you pay for it because it locks it. But don't screenshot it or anything like that, and then try to use it if you haven't bought it. All right, so this is our reference. If you need to screenshot mine, you can. Yeah, it is. Morning, Sandy. The tracer was uploaded yesterday. Yep. All right. But I hope everybody, we're not going to do a background. We're going to keep the background white on her. And let's go ahead and get some of our skin tone mix. I'm going to use some yellow ochre and some Alizarin crimson, just a little bit. You don't need a lot. Don't go heavy on the alizarin crimson. A little bit goes a long way. Both colors are strong, but just a little bit more. Make sure you've mixed enough that you have plenty to do her skin tone with. Got something in my eye. Let me check this. All right, I think that's a little dark. Let me try adding some water. When you add water, make sure you mix it into your entire pile so that when your brush lands in it later to pick up more, you're not picking up a more concentrated area. So take the time to mix that pile well. All right, a little bit more water here. Oops. I think we got it. I think we just about got it. I'm going to add just a tad bit more of my pink, if I can pick it up on my brush. Mix, 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 mix. That looks better. I like that. This is White Knight's paint I'm using this morning. Yep. And we're just going to go ahead and do all of her skin tone, everything here. And you can pre-wet if you want to. Try not to go into your watermelon. Just going to take some water on my brush and go behind, up to your ear. It's okay if you go into the hairline of your baby. Actually, most of the time when you're doing a portrait of any kind, you want to go into the hairline with your skin tone. I'm going into my bow a little bit there, and I don't mean to. Let's see if I can get that off. Get that up. It's hard to get these colors up. That's why I'm telling you to make sure that you mix well and that you try to make any mistakes corrected by picking it up as soon as you see it, because once it begins to dry, it might be impossible to get up. I made mistakes on her nose, and I should have taken my eraser on that too, but I didn't, so we'll have to live with it. I'm sure you'll see it through the skin tone, because the skin tone is not going to get much darker than this. I'm going to see if I can take some clean water and just scrub away at this. Be careful not to put water back into your paint. Hey Sherry, happy Thursday to you. Good morning, friend. And I'm just going to go back into her outfit. There's a shadow of her outfit right there. So remember, you only want to trace out the dark lines on her. Don't trace out all the other lines that you see. Even in the watermelon, there's some areas that you don't see the lines, and so just be mindful there when you're tracing out the watermelon. Like right over here, it kind of in your tracer, you don't see that line, and that's because you're going to have a white background against the white of the watermelon. And so go back down here and do her legs and feet. How is everybody today? This very warm Thursday. We're almost to the weekend. I told myself to come over here and get my tracer put on my paper last night, and I did not. If y'all are ever looking for anything to paint and you run out of ideas and you just don't know what to do, there's so many different resources out there for artists. Go out in your yard and take pictures. Look around your studio. What's in front of you? Take a picture. Or paint what you see, still life. Unsplash. There's other sites that are royalty-free sites as well. And that way you can really make it your own. You can also use things like coloring books. All right, so we're going to go even a little bit lighter now, and we're going to go into our reflection. So we barely even want, with just this paint that we have left, we barely even want to see. We've got to be careful here because we've got our wet paint. We don't want it to bleed. I barely want to see this. Be very careful here. Take a little bit, pardon me, a little bit and offload some of this. It's picked up way too much. A little bit of blue and mix it in to my skin tone here. I'm going to put some of that right down here. I can't half see today. I think it's because my eyes are just tired. And I'm going to kind of pull around here at the bottom of her leg. Good morning, Lisa. All right, so I'm going to leave this. I'm also going to take a little bit of this bluish skin tone color over here. Just pipe that in there. It's very light. And I'm just going to dampen that edge, make sure we don't have a hard edge. This will come back to. And I didn't pull my watermelon down here, but we will. All right, let's see here. I think we got all of our skin tone. Let's take a little bit of more of our pink, our red, mix it in with the skin tone that we have left. This might be a little bit too pink, but I'm going to put some right here on her cheek. I'm just going to put it in and make sure I soften around it really well. It's very pink, but there's going to be a reflective nature. Don't leave any hard lines. There's going to be kind of a reflective nature of that watermelon on her skin anyways. I'm going to go into her ear here a little bit on the inside, on the outer edge here. And then I'll take a smaller brush. And this is pretty wet, so it's likely to move, but we'll see. Yeah, it's too wet. We'll just wait on that one. All right, let's dry her skin tone. You see something on your paper, let it dry. It's tempting to go in there and lift that up, but if I do, I'm going to smear my paint. Trust me, do not do it. Watercolor is super sensitive to it. Let me catch up with my comments. Andrea, I'm sorry you don't feel good. Did you really? Did you post it? Sending prayers for you, Andrea. Make sure you drink plenty of water. Okay. You need to flush out all that contrast medium. Sorry, I'm playing nurse here. Morning, Tanya. I didn't see you come on. Good morning, everybody who's here. If I missed you, I'm sorry. When I'm painting, I'm in my zone. I'm going to save the watermelon because I don't want to have to reach over to do everything else, right? Let's work on her outfit a little bit. I'm going to go into my vermilion, which is more of a very bright red. Okay, and don't need a ton of it because you really don't see too much of her outfit. I'm going to tap off and get some of this water off my brush so that I have more control here. Go around those knuckles. Okay. And then I'm going to tilt my thing a little bit closer to me. And then it goes from the back of her ear to just the tip of her shoulder. So to that earlobe there, to the tip of her shoulder. And I like to put that in before I kind of bump up her outfit here. She's got a little strap that kind of bumps upwards. There we go. All right, I'm going to take a little bit of, we'll do brown, whatever brown you have. We're just going to darken our red, and I completely pulled in way too much. So I'll just make a new pile. I don't need much of this, so I just want to make enough for a shadow. Get a very small detail brush here, and I'll pick up from that. And I'm gonna go down here. A pretty fine line here. I'm going to use that same color, and I'm going to come on along this side here. Okay, that's good enough. I'll let that dry. And that's going to dry a lot later. I'm going to add a little bit more red and put it right down here. Try to make one pass, if you can, instead of a sketchy pass. Okay. And this will go back over again in a little while. I'm going to lift up a little right here, make a little bit of a highlight. Slight highlight. Yeah. Not sure about that, Sherry, but anyways, those days are long gone, but it's something that just kind of comes. Sometimes I think I need to just mind my business. Okay, under here, there's a really pronounced shadow, and it kind of comes starting from here. When this starts scooping up, the shadow gets it dissipates considerably. So this is where we need to start with adding some of our values. All right, I've got some of that skin tone left. I'm adding in some red violet. Because we have yellow ochre in here, what is the contrast of yellow? What is the opposite of yellow on the color wheel? So I'm going to start at the darkest point, which is going to be right here at the foot. Come over probably about 1/4 of an inch and stop right here. Just like that. Can anybody tell me what the contrasting color of yellow is. The opposite on the color wheel. Okay, and then we're going to just take, and some colors, guys, some colors are going to bleed more readily than others. So sometimes you're going to have to do it in pieces. And we're just going to put that there. It's going to look awkward because we haven't gotten the rest of it down. But we're going to put that there. And I'm actually going to come up to it, because sweep up, when you want the purple to stop, sweep up. Okay? Because if you continue to come down with it, then you're going to keep spreading that purple out. So that's right. Purple is a powerful, powerful color. It definitely is. And purple is the opposite on the color wheel. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of this. I'm going to turn my page so I can get right here in this crevice and come right up next to my watermelon there. Kind of go around her little toes. I'm not going quite as dark on this one. Now I've just got a wet brush and I'm going to smooth that out. And I know that some of y'all are thinking, what is she doing using purple? But you got to trust the process. All right. Because I've been finicky, I'm spreading my purple, so I'm going to come towards it. Rinse my brush off often. Okay. And now we've got this area right here between her legs that's really dark, and I'm going to use some Payne's Gray there because I'm going to wind up using Payne's Gray here too. When this dries, really, really up close to this watermelon, we'll wind up using that, but right now I'm not going to. And our darkest area here is going to be inside of that, her little bottom area. I'm just going to mix some of this purple in with it so that it's not such a change. And these dark colors will help you to straighten out any lines on the feet and in the watermelon that you need to straighten out here, or make worse in my case. All right, and then I'm just going to use this purple right down here. There's a little bit of an opening. I'm going to use the purple right here. I'm going to tap off a little bit with my brush and get some of this color off, and I'm going to come around to the edge of her foot. And I'm just going to take and, oops, blue or something on my brush. I must have tapped that, but that's okay. It'll be fine. It'll be light enough where we'll be okay. All right. So we're getting our shadows. I'm going to go back to my vermilion now that the color, her strap should be dry. But reds are very, very hard to get saturated. Reds are a very difficult color in watercolor to get very saturated. So go right over top of your shadowed areas here. Your shadow will shine through. And I'm just going to leave a little bit of a highlight there. Now I'm going to take my damp brush and just come right here where I left that blank and leave it. There we go. All right, I'm going to take my detail brush and go back over the back of her outfit as well. I'm going to turn my paper here and just go back right here. Go right over those shadows as well that we made earlier. And that keeps it all together. It keeps it so that it looks like you don't have, that it's all part of the same outfit. Okay? All right, let's dry it. All right, if y'all have, I'll get my eraser back out. If y'all have some really hard lines right here like I do, Make sure I ain't got anything. And they're just dark. Make sure that they're pretty light right here because I want it to be super, super light. I don't want to be able to see these lines on my watermelon. I want this to be kind of seamless. You're still going to see some of them, but okay. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to take some of this purple and just bring it down. I didn't hear y'all screaming at me to do that into my reflection here. Everything down in the reflection is going to be just a little bit lighter. I have this class, which is online. I don't have a paid membership. I teach seated classes online, and I decided to do this first. And if this takes off and I have enough interest, then of course, we'll think about moving towards a paid membership. But for right now, this is what I have online. It's just my choice. I've been asked many, many times about it, and this is what I chose to do. Plus, I feel like it's something that I can share. It's a gift that I can give. Okay, so we got a really light reflection there as well in the shadows. And then down here at the bottom, we need that same type of thing right here. I was about to move on and didn't even take care of this. So this needs to be super light. Your purple, we really have to work with your purple. Pull something away from your pile. I'm just a little bit lower that y'all can't see me. Pull some away from your pile and add some water to it. Don't work for the pile you've already started. Okay. And then I'm just going to put some of this purple right back down here. I'm going to sweep it around right underneath his leg, or her leg. I don't know why I keep calling her a him. Just like that. And then I'm going to rinse my brush. I'm going to go into my original pile of purple, and I'm going to go right up underneath that foot and right underneath her bottom and make my darker line there. And that's still damp, so it should bleed out some. I'm going to take my clean brush and just wipe across. Some people like to do this to bring their color down. Don't. You're spending way too much time getting the job done. Go across it. It makes life so much easier, and you get less brush strokes and much more control. All right, so right here, let's see. Right here, I need to do another light pass of this. I'm just going to put it on top of her foot a little bit. And then I'm going to take my detail brush, go directly into my original purple, and I'm going to pull this. Got to see where I'm drawing here. If you need more water in your brush, if you're starting to dry brush, get more water in your brush. Just touch the tip of it. More than likely, you have plenty of water in your brush. I say that every time because it's one of the things that as new beginners we forget. Just going under here with this. Okay. This is, I think that I can get right in here. I've got dark lines right here, but I think with the reflection from the watermelon, I should be okay. It'll be a darker reflection there. Okay. Let's go into our watermelon just a bit and get that started. What I want us to do is to get a pretty large brush. Okay, and I'm going to make sure I've got a good wet brush. And I'm going to start I'm going to go to my line here. I'm not going all the way across. I want to stop. Remember, there's a white segment right here, and there's no line right there in our tracer, if you traced it that way. Some of my water-soluble graphite pencil that I used to create my tracer with is loosening up on my paper as I do this. I'm going to go right up to her mouth and really just dampen this. Be very careful. You don't want to. This is red we're dealing with. Take your time around her skin. And really just dampen this whole thing. Once you get around those finicky parts, you can fly with it a little bit. And I'm going to kind of come right around that line here. I'm going to walk my brush around this line. And sometimes I'm going to go over it. And I'm going to do it quickly because I don't really need to be fussy about that one. Just make sure it's evenly wet. All right, and we should have had our color mixed already, but I'm going to go into my crimson red, my pinky red. All right, and remember this is wet on wet, so I'm going to start in the center and let it work its way more towards the edge because I want those edges to be a little bit softer as it bumps out. Let's just get this in here. I'm letting those edges be soft, the top edges and the very edges. And we're working quickly because this will dry. And I'm on paper that is a little rougher than this is bohung paper today. And so it's a lot more thirsty of paper than my arch paper. All right, I'm going to take now, and I'm going to spritz this a little bit because I want it to kind of even out. I don't want to see brush strokes. I just want it to have like a evenness. Let's see how it follows that line that I laid down there. And it won't go past my water line. Sorry, I can keep that on camera there. And then I'm going to come this way and do the same thing, and it'll give me a nice soft edge. And if this part is not perfect, it's fine. We want it that way because that's not how it is in nature. So I'm going to dry this real quick because I have it like I want it. I've got a little bit of red here on my finger. And pick that red up off these fingers, okay, before we dry it. If we didn't get in and around our fingers well, that's okay. We can go back with a detail brush and handle that. Sandy, I have my YouTube channel to answer your question. A lot of the videos I make here, I take and repurpose over there so that, because Facebook is just, I was doing a lot of resin work over there on my YouTube channel to start with years ago when resin was such a hot thing. It was new and upcoming, and I was doing some pretty fantastic things there. And I've revised my page and now doing watercolor and other types of art on there. So, but I do try to repurpose my work because this is a lot. I teach 4 times a week, and it's a lot. I don't always have, sometimes I have to draw my own reference, like my Texaco thing. And there's just some I don't go on. I don't find resources from other places. I might have to go explore out in nature or whatever. It takes a lot of work. This week I've been, I started my daily devotional Rolodex. And I've also been making cards with some of my friends and helping my granddaughter get started on some of hers. She'll be turning 12 years old this August, but she has a little business where she does a lot of paper crafts and such. And so it's something that I helped her get started in. And we have a little local place where artisans go in and sell their work, and she's got a booth there. And so I got started on getting some of the things ready for her to update some things. And it's been a very busy week, really. My last several weeks have been very busy. Teaching 4 times a week is a lot. Yes, everything for me is art by Tammy Lassiter. I have YouTube. I have Pinterest. I have Instagram. TikTok. All of it. Everything's the same. All right, so we have our watermelon started, and we'll probably go in and darken it just a little bit, but isn't it already turning out sweet? Okay. Now, it's kind of the same principle here for the green, but the green doesn't come all the way around. We're looking at perspective here, and that it's starting kind of in the shadowed area. And so you're not going to see all of that green completely. You will see just a little bit of it over here, but we've got to be careful about putting that green down. So you just need to make sure, let's see, I was going to use this green that my new green here is green Apatite Genuine. It's really pretty. I love this green. That's a Daniel Smith color. Isn't that pretty? So I'm going to rinse my brush off good here, put that in the purple area. And I'm going to pre-wet. I'm going to take my time because it's a smaller area. And then just come just slightly down. And you want to make sure everything is dry before you do that because, again, we're bleeding here. All right, and I'm going to take my damp brush and I'm going to go slightly onto the line, maybe even just a little bit over the line, so that green will soften into the wet area. So I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to pull in some of this green. And it will kind of run into the white area that I dampened a little bit. And I'm just going to take and go very softly because this is not a stark white. Okay. And this will get a lot darker. All right. So on this side, you'll see just the skin of the watermelon. So I'm just going to take my liner brush here. And then I'm going to take and go right around. I'm going to go a little bit more, a little bit darker right here on this line. And I'm going to come back and loosen this up with a little bit of water. I don't want that to be a solid line. I just want to loosen it up some. And I'm going to do the same on this side. This is probably already dried because it was such a small little area. Ooh, I got paint on my brush. What is that? It must be the... I'm going to take some... Got a little staining in there. I think it's from actually the pencil, the water-soluble pencil. But I'm really okay with it. You really won't see this once we darken our red. I'm going to take my little brush here and I'm going to go right into my cake of my crimson. I'll offload a little bit of that. And I'm going to come around right there. And then I'm going to soften that line. And I'm going to come around and go in between my fingers and around my fingers to create that shadow. Same thing right here on this side. I'm going to start over here and darken this area because her hand is right here. I just want to try to loosen some of this. It got really, there we go. Oops. Got on her face a little bit. All right, let's see what you're saying. Yeah, it's a pretty green. All right, I'm going to take and have a little fun with my watermelon, and I'm just going to take some areas and I'm going to pre-wet across the rind, and then I'm going to go in with my color where I pre-wet it. Look at where I did it. Like that. Look what that does. There we are. And then just do some of that. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't want it to be perfect. You want it to look very organic. So let it do what it wants to do. That one wanted to get really dark. So I'm sure I picked up more than I should have. Make sure my edge is good. Yeah, you can go in and add a little extra if you need to. And then I'm just going to not pre-wet and just add something down here. And then I'm just going to okay. Go back into her ear. Get some of my brown. Try not to put your hand in your painting like I just did. Okay. I'm going to pick up some of my sienna. All right, I'm going to start mixing up some more skin tone a little bit, just a little bit. So I need a little bit of my yellow ochre. And actually mine is more like a sienna. It's kind of a crossover between the raw sienna and yellow ochre. And then just a touch of our red. And I'm going to have more of the raw sienna in this mixture because we're going to be doing the eyebrows and stuff. And probably some of the hair. And raw sienna and burnt sienna. Let's try that. Let's see what this color looks like. Okay. That looks, I'm going to put just a touch of sepia, just a touch, or umber, one or the other. I just want to bring that down from the red a little bit. Yeah, that looks so much better. Okay. My detail brush. And I'm going to pick up some of this mixture. Make sure I don't have any water on my ferrule. And she's got some very faint eyebrows here. Start up closer to the nose. Start up closer to the nose. And then just trail out till it's almost gone. Okay. Same over here. Start out closer to the nose because that's where it's the widest. And then I rinse. I put a little bit down and I rinse and then I pull out. And it almost disappears actually. You just need to make the essence of it. And I'm going to take a little bit of my Payne's Gray and I'm going to put it over next to my skin tone because I think even the Payne's Gray is still a little bit dark. But I'm going to take some of my skin tone now that we just mixed, pull it over towards my Payne's Gray and mix them in together. I still have plenty of that color that I mixed left because I'm going to be using it for other things. I just don't want them to mix. All right, so I'm going to start from here and come there. And start from here and come there. And then I'm going to remember that some of your eyelashes, they twist and turn. They don't all come out perfectly straight. Let's let that dry. All right, the same color I'm going to use, let's see, around her nose, around the turn right here of her nose. And over here. I'm not going to pull the whole line. I'm not going to pull the whole line and trace that. And then I'm just going to take and dampen that and let it run. Same here, dampen. I'm going to take a little bit of my color there. Take a little bit of red in it. Come this way. Being careful to stay away from my black eyelashes here. Just putting in these little shadows, being very careful to being quiet so that I can concentrate, guys. Sorry. I'm just going around softly, making sure that I take my brush and excuse me, I'm sorry. Soften those edges. The nose got a little odd. Okay. She's got a shadow right here. So I'm going to add some of the skin tone or this shadow color that we made over to my red. And it's a very reddish shadow. I'm not sure if it's that red or not. Let's try this. Okay, so she kind of comes up underneath here. I'm just going to soften. And it got out a little further than what I wanted it to. I don't really want it this far out. I really just want it right in here. Okay, there we are. Better. Okay. I'm going to pre-wet this area right here, the fold of her ear. And I'm going into my shadow area here. She has an earring in her ear, but I'm not going to do that. Right here behind her ear, got some of that color on it. I don't really want that color on it because that's part of the background. Okay. I'm going to take some of this color now, and I'm going to come down this way. Some of our shadow color. And much lighter. I'm going to actually come this way. And very lightly put in another layer of her skin tone here, but I'm going to make sure I don't go all the way up, and I'm going to soften where I stop. And really, it just delineates. It's just enough color to delineate where that hand, where those knuckles come over. Okay? And you can go a little darker if you want to, but remember, this is a baby, and their skin, for a Caucasian baby, their skin is very pure and white. It's very, very light in color. Just like that. And then I'm losing some of my shadow color here. I'm going to have to remix some of that. Let's see. I'm not sure that y'all can even see this on camera. But it's going to be super light. You really have to be able to control that. and test those colors on a swatch piece of paper if you need to. This here area is part of her shoulder in the background. I've got a hard line right there. I'm just trying to work some of these hard lines. Okay, let's see. Let's mix a little bit more of this color. I'm going to put some my raw sienna and my burnt sienna together. Oops, I don't think I picked any up there. There we go. And also some of my what I thought was yellow ochre, but it's more of a softer or more of a mix between yellow and sienna. And get some of my red. And some of my umber to pull that down. Way too much umber, darn it. Sometimes you just have those days where mixing doesn't come to you as easily as others. Just be patient with yourself. All right, I'm going to take some of my yellow ochre. This is not yellow ochre. I'm not really sure what this color is of mine. It's going to vary a little bit for you because yours will probably be right at yellow ochre. This is a type of yellow. It's more close to sienna, as I've mentioned. And we're just going to kind of put in some hair here for her. We're going to start with this color first. It's going to be the undercolor. And not going to go all the way to the edge because the edge needs to soften out. She's got a couple little areas here that stick up. Go ahead and put those in because those are always going to be a little bit lighter. Just don't go all the way to your edges, all the way to your hairline. Now, I don't think I have put all of my these videos on YouTube. And they certainly are formatted for Facebook, so they're going to be turned sideways. Some of them I can turn, but it just depends on the size I use and whether I can fit it all in the screen or not. I've got my bow here I need to be careful of. All right, I'm just going to take right now and wet here at the hairline. I'm not going to. And we'll just leave that alone. We'll put a little bit more right in here. All right, let's let that dry. All right, what do y'all think so far? TikTok. I'm going to put a little spot right here. Needed to fill in. And her hair doesn't have to be exactly like it is in the painting. All right, I'm going to get my little detail brush. I'm going to go and come into some of my shadow tones here. Make sure I don't have any moisture on my brush there. I'm going to come up underneath her toes. Under the baby toe, don't go all the way to the edge like I just did. Go. Just softening these lines with a little damp water, a dampened brush. Kind of go on top of the line instead of on the bottom of the line, and it pushes that line below. It pushes that shadow below it. If you go on this side of the line, it'll change. When you have toes like this stacked, you can make a difference. Okay. And I'm just going to use the paint that's on my brush and kind of make some toenails there, just little. I'm not going to do it on this one. You don't have to do it the whole way around. Soften that line. I'm going to go the whole way over it just to soften it because it's definitely got some staying power. Okay. A little bit of this pinky. I'm going to put some pink underneath here. Underneath his little pads to his feet, to his toes. Okay. Everybody good? You with me? Questions? Yes, she will. Thanks, girls. Appreciate you. Yeah, bring your pink down to your toes. We want to make sure we got a little blood flow going on down there. I'm using some of my skin tone with some pink in it, just a little bit. There's a little bit I have left on my palette here that I'm picking up from. You don't want these shadows to get dark. They start looking dirty, like she got dirty little toes. I need to put a little bit more pink in this toe. Let's see. I'm trying to reference it and see what she's got there, but it's really hard to see anything there. And you can pick it to death, you can really nitpick it. I'm going to put some of this pinky color also down here on the bottom of the foot. She needs some pink tone in that foot. Right in here. And then I'm just going to take my damp brush and come towards it, right? And this might soften where we have to do it again, but we'll deal with that then. And put some right in here as well. Right underneath the little pads of her feet some. Bring some down, make some creases in her little feet. She's got her toes all scrunched up. And she does have some little crinkly wrinkles. Let's see. That doesn't look good, but it'll be fine. And soften those off really good. I really want those soft. I don't want those to stand out. I'll do some of that right down. If I can get my eyes focused to see this one. Right onto the pads of her foot right here. I'll put some of that pink. And then take my brush. Pick up a light version here. And I'm going to kind of tap in. It's pretty wet there. Some wrinkles. She's got some little wrinkly bits on her feet. Just soften those. All right, let's see what we got. One, two, three, four, five. Just separating some toes here. All right, let's see if we can figure out her toes here. This foot's probably going to be a little more difficult. You know what they say. I've told you this 1,000 times. It's hard to get both feet to do their thing. Remember that these are rounded, so try to keep your brush strokes that way, or they're more ovalized. I'm going to take some of this and very lightly pull in some pink down here at the bottom and around her heel. Really dark right there. This one here is a really dark area. Put a little more red in that. Feet are hard. The shadows, when they have bunched up toes and okay, then we're gonna. Hey, Deborah. This is not. It's just a little 0.5 brush. Okay. There you go. And then we're going to take our very light purpley shadow here, just very light, right here where her foot and leg kind of separate there. She's got a very light. You can barely see it. But it's just enough. Just enough. But it'll lighten up, so if you want it to go a little bit more, you can. I'm going to pull it out this way a little bit because she's going to have that shadow on her leg. All right, so this lightened up considerably. So I need to go in and darken that. So we're going to do that now. I'll take my purpley Payne's Gray mixture. I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to go right up next to that rind. And we're going to kind of keep it at an angle here. We already have that purple down there. Just keep it at an angle. And on this side, we have just a much smaller area here that we need to darken. I'm just really kind of getting into that triangle area. Kind of get into those toes and make them round. Use this color to carve out your toes here. I made a mess of this one, but I made a mess. What do we got to do there, Sherry? What's the word we use? Once some of these colors get there, they're not coming up. And that's the difference between using something with a little more grit in your paper. But this is an actual standard Bohong paper. It's not their rough paper, but their standard paper is much rougher than Arch paper. Let me try this brush. All right. Just cleaning up some. Small areas can be challenging. Okay. I might come back to these, but for right now, I'm leaving it. And then I'm going to take my purpley gray mixture and come down here and really, not going all the way, I'm going to come back this way with it. Okay. Come back. Okay. Let's go into our hair again. Let's make some fun hair. And I kind of always start, she has her hair parted and going in this direction. So I always start there at the top and sweep over. It makes it easier for me. And you're not going to use as much of this color as you think. So when I'm looking at this reference photo, a lot of the darkest part of her hair is up here and right in this area, some down here. So that's where we're going to focus. And we're just going to start pulling in that direction. Wet your brush if you need to, and just start pulling. Load. And as I come this way, I'm making shorter. So there are longer hairs here. They're all being kind of gathered here into her area, her barrette, or bow. So I'm going to come back this way. We're supposed to get some rain sometime today too. Storms. It's hot, but it's very windy, and so the wind helps cool things. You still can't stay out there very much. You're still going to need some of these brown streaks even in the highlighted areas, so leave those in there. And pull some of them down. Let them be a little loose. Especially right in here, you want to, like, maybe some little curls. And you don't want a flat head. You don't want this edge to be like the stopping point. You want that to be the jumping off point for things like hair, where you've got just come off just a little bit of that edge. Do you see? Just slowly coming off right there. Okay. And she doesn't have that in her hair, but I'm putting it in her hair. I'm just going to put some of that up there. I'm going to pull in a little bit more of this darker brown, because these strands are going to be lots of different colors. I need to wet my brush a little bit. With this being a rougher paper, it's hard to get these marks. You can kind of come right here. Okay. Here. And come down here like this. Okay, I'm going to take now just a standard brush. I'm going to start smoothing some of this out with water. Hopefully this isn't big enough. And what this does is it tends to start bringing things together. It just will start bringing it together. Pull in some of this yellowy color again. Okay, we're starting to get there. We don't want to to get overly dark here. I'm going to do some negative painting straight through here. Leave some darkened areas. Okay, we're starting to get there. A little bit of negative painting. Don't get too dark here. Leave some of those streaks that we left earlier, those lighter little streaks. So cute. I got a little bit heavier than what I wanted to there. Tap, tap, tap. Softening that off. Utilize the hair is going to take a while, guys. If you really want it to look more of the natural, realistic side. And lift there a little bit. excuse me. Yes, you can. You just have to be persistent at it. You just need to look at your photo and kind of get an idea where you see highlights. Like right there, I want to stay away from it. Okay. And then right in here, I kind of want to stay away from it, but every once in a while, I'm going to pull in some lines, especially around things like hair bows. When you have like a stopping point, this is where you're going to see where your darks start kind of creeping out because the hair is gathered, right? The hair is gathered here. And so you're going to have that negative space that comes from it. So pull out those areas of negative, and you can go in and darken them if you need to. Here is, which is where the hair is gathered naturally. It's where most of her hair is, and it's hair laying on top of hair. So, just kind of look at the direction of it and just go with it. Same here, a little bit of gathering of hair. So you can do it. It doesn't have to be exactly like it is in the photo. You can do it. So mine definitely is far from perfect on her. I can't get the color exactly the way I want it, and that's making me a little agitated. See, I'm staying away from this highlighted area, and actually the highlighted area comes up this way. So it kind of swoops up the shape of her head. See how it kind of makes the shape of her head right there. So that's what right here. And so a lot of I still need to come in with negative space, and I'm letting this dry, and I'll still come in with negative space and fill some of this in. But for right now, I need it to rest. Sherry, you are so hilarious. All right, so let's make a little bit of pink. Let's get a little bit of our crimson, water it down a lot. We're going to go into our reflective area here, and of course that's going to be lighter, right? And I'm just going to kind of swoop around here. I don't even have the drawing. I'm just kind of going by what I see above. And then just fill this in while it's wet. This will be softer and it'll be more blurred. It won't be as crisp. So don't worry about making it perfect. All right, I'm going to take some of my green, but it's going to be more of I'm going to put a little blue in it. So let's see. What blue do I want? I'm just going to take some cerulean. I'm going to put it over here. It doesn't matter. I don't care if there's a little bit of pink there. Yeah, I like that. That's pretty. Okay. Beautimus. I'm going to pull out right here. I'm just going to pull that way. And I'm going to pull. It's going to rest right up against this leg here for a little while. I'm not going to make it exactly like it is up top because it doesn't need to be. It's just a shadow or a reflection. There we go. Oops. I'm just going to take my brush and just run it along the line. And if it bleeds over there, it bleeds over there. If it doesn't, I'm okay with it. I'll play with these feet later. All right, now I'm going to take, the watermelons have some weird lines in it. I'm just going to take my brush here and I'm going to pull out some of my crimson red, and I'm just going to pull some in different directions around the course of the watermelon. It has lots of texture and okay, and I know that looks weird, but we're just going to take our brush, pick up some of our red, and I'm going to pull some around here. And it's not going to lift. That red will not lift. All right, so I'm going to just kind of take, I want a nice deep red. I'm going to put a little bit, I'm not sure if a little bit of my green maybe. And what it's going to do is just take down the vibrancy of that red. And it's really not much different. You really wouldn't be able to tell the difference, but I want this part to be darker right in here. And as I come over, I added water to my brush. And I don't mind that dry brushing because it just adds more texture here. Let me get into this before it dries. There's usually a lighter area towards the center, but usually it's up further than what I have it. Let's see. I don't mind any texture here. All right, I'm going to get some of this, and I'm going to try to start dry brushing. And just leaving some dry brushing in some areas. I'm not picking any water up off my brush. I'm going to my paint, and I'm adding some paint to my brush, and then I'm just putting it right down on the paper and kind of scumbling here, and just let that texture. Texture is a good thing. Right over those lines too. Texture. Rinse my brush. Bring it some life back into it. Let's pull some more of that red over. Make a pile. This is a little bit richer paint. I just got a damp brush. Picking up. And I'm kind of scrubbing over this way. This is richer paint. A richer paint color. More paint, not to the water. Kind of pull it up in the direction that it's going, right? Kind of comes up like that. Y'all still with me? A piece of cold water. I tell you, we used to grow them with the kids, and they got recognized in the newspaper one time because one of the watermelons weighed about 150 pounds, and the other one was a little bit over that. I can't remember. And I had to take an old blanket and roll that watermelon off the plant onto it and pull it out of the field on that old blanket because I couldn't pick it. Their dad wasn't home from work yet, and I needed to get it picked. Anyways, they were so proud of that. Start in different areas. Don't always start in the same location. You can always work it over if you need to. All right, I think. All right, let's let that dry. We got to get some seeds in it. I'll tell you what, real quick, what we'll do is get this bow done. Let's see. Thank heaven for a paper towel. They do wonderful things. I'm gonna. Oops, got a little bit on my bow. My husband's out there revving his motorcycle. I think he's trying to put it back in the trailer. Let's see if we can. I might try my cyanotype today. It'll be sunny for a while. It depends. I need to get off of here and do something else probably. Get something done around the house maybe. I think it needs to be darker still inside of that. Let's see. And a lot of the rest of this is going to be very much detail work. So see, I didn't get quite up to that. All right. I'm going to put in a couple of seeds with y'all, and then I'm going to sign off so that y'all will know how to put seeds in, and I'll do the seeds on my own. But of course, you want them to kind of go staggeredly in the shape of the slice. I'm not going to put them down here. You know, you might put one, if you want to put one or two, you can, but I'm not going to. But let's just see if we can put one or two of these. I might mix in some of my red here with it, with my Payne's gray. Of course, it'll be more brownish black. The seeds in watermelon are a lot of different colors. Some of them are whitish green. Some of them are white, brown. Okay. And they're just kind of all over the place here. So we've got some missing. You don't have to fill it all in. Don't get overly picky about putting in so many at one time. You'll have little areas that will make little pockets where the seeds were and aren't anymore. Kind of make them turn a few different directions as well. Okay, let's dry it. Now we're going to take some of our red and let's use this darker red. Gosh, it's a little bit, a red is a little bit darker. Okay, I'm going to kind of come in close with the detail brush and take my time. And make our little areas here that used to have seeds in them, but they don't have seeds in them anymore. And we're also going to make little areas where we have pockets, little seats for the seeds that are there. Go back with it because you want to make sure these stay hard but soft a little bit. See how making that soft makes it just looks better. And that one there, I'm going to leave alone. And then I'll just add some areas that are just tapping around that. It kind of seats it in place. Okay. And if you feel like you need to go darker, you can. So we're just making little seats, and it might be hard for you to see. Okay, so that's what we would do. And just add, and then of course we would actually brown probably would look better, putting brown down and then adding a little, while it's wet, you can put a little bit of darker brown into it, or black, it doesn't matter. But then we can take some of our wash here, with a little bit on there, and we'll just touch. And I always like to touch it and pull it back a little bit, because gouache can be a little harsh in the moment. You can take some of this and put little dots on her bow and give it a little bit of character here. I tell you what, those little dots on the bow make it so much better. It just makes it so much better. It almost helps inspire me to finish the hair, but I'm not going to do it live today, because it's just, the details in something like this is what takes the time. But isn't it a cute little painting? There we go there. I'm going to take a little bit of it. I'm going to brighten her button a little bit and make there. That way it looks less like the paper, and it pushes those little button holes back some. All right, guys, so I'm going to let y'all go at this point. Thank you, Sherry. Absolutely. You really have to take your time. And this is far from finished, guys. It's not finished. I still need to do more to her feet, her hair, her face, everything. But, I can bring you along with me later if you want to. But this gives you a really good idea as to how much time something like a portrait would take. And, more layers up here on the hair. It's all going to come together and make such a cute little painting when it's done. I wish that I'd used Arches paper, because this one doesn't. It's too much texture. It doesn't give me a nice soft blend with these colors that already have difficulty moving. I'm getting hard, kind of uneven edges on this bow hung regular paper. I tell you, the student grade paper is better than better than the professional. It's the closest to Arches. The bow hung student, I think I call it Academy paper, is going to be much easier to work with. But anyways, hope y'all have enjoyed it. I have. Hope y'all have a blessed day. Hello, Kim. We're just calling it a day. Hello, Brenda. But I hope y'all have a blessed one. Do y'all want to finish this one off on Monday, or do you want to move on to something else? Yay or nay? The most votes win. Ooh, it's 2 o'clock, guys. Finish this one off on Monday or move on. I might not have anybody else up here. Okay. All right. Well, we'll make a plan. Anyways, take care. Have a great weekend. Love you guys. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday. Hey, Sherry. Can you let me know if you can hear me and see me okay? How are you this morning? I'm just as stopped up as I can be. I don't know why. Happy Monday to you. It is. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. I hope you're doing well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate that. I've been working on my little. Sherry and I have been trying to come up with a name for the Rolodex. She suggested Artidex, and I'm thinking Praisedex. Good morning, Pam. We got to come up with a clever name for it, but I've been working on that a little bit this morning, just getting my cards ready. Allergies are crazy. I think there's just been so much moisture from rain, and then on top of that, you get the really hot, humid days, and there's just mold in the air. I think it's terrible. How are you today? Did you find your Rolodex? All right, so we're going to work on our little watermelon baby. I finished putting the seeds in that I'm going to put in. I also took some of the darker color, the red that we used here, and I used some darker bits, and I put in like where the seeds are, there's usually an indentation in the watermelon. And I went ahead and added some of those in the pinks. I changed it over from black to brown colors because I felt the black was just a little bit too harsh on this side. So, but it goes well. It doesn't look odd. And so you might want to use like a dark brown for your seeds instead of the Payne's Gray. I just think the Payne's Gray is a little bit too much. I got to try to remember my colors that we used. And so I'm using the crimson, and I go, just to kind of give you an idea, I go along one side of it, the ones that have the seeds in them, to kind of give like indication that they're kind of sitting into the watermelon and not just sitting on top of the watermelon. So I've been busy over here in my studio, just working on little things here and there. The housekeeper comes today, so as soon as I'm done here, I'll go over there and get ready for her. So anyway, so that's all I did, is worked on those seeds after we left. And evidently I didn't get it all. Either that or didn't get it dark enough. Okay. And then I took just a couple of touches of my white gouache, and I put a little bit, just on a couple of these, I put a little bit of a shine. I did not do it to all of them. You only needed a couple. And then I put one of those white seeds over here, and I'm going to take a little bit of my green, just a very, very washed out green. And I'm going to kind of go around that because I think the white is a little stark. I'm going to leave some of the white. It might not look as stark on video, but it does in person. Well, thanks, Sherry. You found it. Good. Cool. Good morning, Sherry. Good morning, Mary. Good morning, Leslie. Good morning, Andrea. Andrea, I've been thanking for you and praying for you. This morning, I was going to try to message you, and I was, for some reason, I have a hard time trying to message out to my followers, and unless you message me first, I can't seem to message you. So it's probably a Facebook thing. But how are you doing, Andrea? If you're still with us, just want to make sure you know that I did not forget to pray for you. Artidex sounds so technical. We got to think of something. All right, I'm going to work on her ear a little bit. I was sitting here contemplating where I was going to go. I went ahead and pre-made some skin tone. If you remember, I'm using like yellow ochre and a touch of crimson red. You know that touch is just very, very light. And it's going to give you kind of like a dark orangey, reddish orangey color. And down here where her ear is, where the canal is to her ear, is going to be pretty dark. And then I'm going to take and kind of go back over this a little bit. My arm is wet. And I think right here, there's an area right behind her ear that, even though it doesn't really show, I'm going to use it, in the reference photo. I'm going to add a little bit of dark skin tone color right here, because there needs to be a break between her ear and her hair. And then just make sure you wash that out really good. Probably need a bigger brush to do that with. And she's got a little fold right here in her ear. So you need to pay attention to her fold. Inspirodex. Oh, I like that. I like that. I like that. I probably need to bring this down some. All right, and then we've got a little area under her ear. And right on the line under her ear, there needs to be a little bit of a shadow here. And that little bit of a shadow on the fleshy part of her earlobe is going to separate the ear from the rest of, like, her back and her face here. So it'll separate that. I'm kind of liking the Inspirodex. Yeah. Anybody else got any thoughts there? All right. She's got a little fold here in her finger. Where you see the underside, I'm going to put a little bit of a dark area there. You start seeing like this part of her hand. And so let's put that there and pull that out. And I just put a little bit of that same color right over top of that part of her hand there, where the skin tone from her shoulder and that separate. And I'm just using a little bit of this pinky skin tone, and I came in and I added some lines, because, you know, we got these wrinkles, we got these little areas in our fingers that create those textures, and I just really added little lines there, and I went back with a damp brush, damp, not wet, and I went over them to soften them, and they look a little bit more natural. Good morning, Sherry. How are you this morning? I know you've been eating good this weekend with all those good-looking vegetables coming out of your garden. I'm jelly. I'm jelly. I'm going to put a little bit of a shadow here on this side of her finger. And then I'm softening that. I'm so jealous. We got wrinkles. I know I do. I got a taste. I saw your post and I got a taste for some fresh squash. And I went to our little farmer's market stand and got some squash. I haven't fixed it yet. I need to. I love fresh squash. We haven't had a garden in years. We've just been too busy. Everybody knows who you are when you have a garden. They seem to forget you when you don't, or when they have a garden. All right, I'm taking my skin tone here, which is pretty light, and I'm putting in the impression of her fingernails right there, right here, and then some little wrinkly bits. I'm going to take and follow up with my dampened brush. I'm going to come back right here and separate these two fingers with some fleshy tones. I have I know we talked about this some last Thursday, but just in case y'all forgot, I'm working on bow hung paper. And bow hung paper has much more of a tooth on it than um, arch paper does. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to know that it because of that, and because this is a very thirsty, this is 100% cotton paper, is going to be very thirsty, and sometimes it's going to act a little differently. So just be mindful. I got a little crazy with my mark there. Okay. I did the toenails already last week, but let me bring this up for you to look at so you can see those fingernails. Oh, I got to turn my light on this morning. Makes a difference when that light's on, doesn't it? So it's just a little bit of texture there. I'm going to go in. There's a little area between the fingers that needs some watermelon color. So I'm going to go in there and fix that. All right, and what we did up here, we've got to do down here in our toes. And so just remember, it's going to be a little bit lighter. Can y'all see the bottom of my page here before I get moving? We're just kind of swooping underneath these toes, right? The toes, we're seeing the bottom of the foot. So we have a little bit of a shadow here, but these shadows do not need to be as dark. These shadows are also in the reflection, and that's confusing for people. When you have a reflection, it's going to be a little bit more distorted. So I'm just using my skin tone, kind of going around. I always pick up a bigger brush to do your wipeouts, because the little ones that we use just don't hold the water capacity. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this one. And And it just softens this up so nicely. Morning, Sandy. Yes, yes, yes. What are we saying yes to? And we're going to call her Daphne. Thank you, Sherry. Oh my gosh, y'all are too funny. All right, I'm going to take this color, a very light version of the skin tone color, and I'm going to come down up underneath here because we've already got it right here. And add it there. And it's very light. And I'm going to add a little bit of more pink tones down on this side of it. And it looks worse than what it is. It's very wet, so it's going to... And I'm just pulling it up along that side. Oops, I did that on the original foot. Well, what we do on the original foot, we need to do on the reflective foot, right? We'll do it on this foot too. How about that? Okay. All right, so it'll be on the opposite side of things though. So it'll be on this side. And so we'll soften all that. Okay, and try right up in here. Okay, this foot here, I did not draw the very best. So let's see if we can mimic this a little bit. Actually, I'm going to try and lift this. My tummy's growling. I did have a good breakfast this morning. Well, I had a breakfast. This does not have to be perfect. Hello, Laura. But a little bit darker in these areas. What's everybody up to today? I'm going to have to work on this foot some. I'm gonna let that dry a bit because I need to work on it some. It's starting to get dark, so I'm going to try to work on lightening up, which is going to be difficult because these colors don't like to lift. I'm trying to work this, guys. Sorry, I'm not talking a lot. I'm going to dry it. That's no fun having to go to the laundromat. I'll probably do what laundry I have today. All the things. All the things, right? All right. I'm going to take a little bit more of my yellow here and mix it in to my skin tone. We're going to do a really light wash over the skin tone. I think she could use a little touch more of color. testing my color. Kind of all over the place with it. Make sure when you're adding color or water to your mixture that if you have a pile of paint, that you mix the entire pile. Unless you pull out and away, pull some of that paint away from your original pile so that you can reserve some of the original mixture and such. Because you want it, you don't want to pick up from the pile and not have consistency. If you go a dark area one way, you can pick up from a darker area from your pile than others, and that's not a good thing. So I'm just giving a little bit of a light, very light wash to bring this back to life a little bit. I'm going to do it some on her face. You just got to be careful when you're first laying it down. When you put your initial wash down, not to go too dark because you can't lift it back up again. So just it's better to go back with a final wash than it is to go in too much too fast. We're getting a super light wash here, just adding a little bit of extra color. Some areas I'm leaving. I go a little bit darker right here and right in here. And then we got to put some in over here. And then even lighter in here. And here. And I'm going to pull in some of that color into her fingers, all of them the same. And that kind of helps because all those little marks we made on her fingers, everything's going to start looking like it belongs together now. Okay. There are some small, like, seeds in the watermelon. It needs to be fairly light. So we're just going to try to emulate here. And I'm just going back with a damp brush over it. just tapping around it with a damp brush. Tapping on it actually with a damp brush. And then I'm going to take, well, let's see, I'm going to take some of my red that we used, which is crimson. And that red is tough, so once you put it down, it's got staying power, so be careful. I'm using, of course, the White Knights. Lift up some of this. It's too pink. There we go. It's really kind of hard for me to see. I'm going to put a little bit underneath her earlobe. Should have come down a little bit, but I'm going to put a little bit of shadow right here. I let some of the paint get away from me right here. So I need to fix that. I'm going to do it while I'm thinking about it because I might forget it. I can get my eyes to focus. There we go. Can't get my eyes to focus this morning. My head's in the camera. I'm sorry. Just trying to get up close to her. Okay. I know this is a lot of detail. I'm not sure if I did this on camera last week, but I put dots on her bow with white gouache. All right. Do. Have a good day, Sherry. I know trying to get all that together and going and spend an entire day doing that's not fun. Oh, good. I'm glad my head is not in the camera. I really want to try to soften those out a little bit more, but I don't think it's going to happen. Maybe I'll pink this watermelon a little bit more. That'll push that back a little bit. Let's see here. I'm just going to do a real light wash here. I need a bigger brush. I need a bigger brush to do that with. Let's see if we can pick some up. Put some water in it. There we go. That pushes it back some. I've got some green in my toe over here where the rind. I didn't draw my toe out very well. There we go. I think that looks a little bit better. I'm going to put some right in here. It needs to dry. What else do I need to do, y'all? I think I'm going to put her britches down here. And put a little extra red in those. We used some gray. Make sure this is all dry. Yikes. Yes, I am working on my praise cards. Started doing that this morning. For the week, actually. I just painted off the back where I put the verse. I already put my verses on. And so I've just put my verses on already. This is that cheap gouache. Do you see it doesn't leave? It's very streaky. I don't care for it. But I did get some new gouache. It's professional gouache. I got it in over the weekend, and I'm anxious to get started with it. It has good reviews. I've heard other artists use it and say it's comparable to the Winsor & Newton gouache, which has high ratings. Winsor & Newton gouache has high ratings, so. But it's not as expensive as, say, like the Daniel Smith gouache and stuff. So I'm going to work on this a little bit. There's some little nuances that I need to really kind of focus on. That would just be too much to have y'all live to do. But I wanted to talk to y'all about the cyanotype. And I'm going to try to get some of that started today. I got to fix this. This isn't right. I think that's the reason. I think I put it up here and didn't. I got a hard line with it. But let me show you what it is. So you'll know, y'all, I haven't done it yet. So here's our baby for right now. Here's our baby. She's pretty much done, but I'm going to just clean up some areas, and because I made a little bit of a mess because it's such textured paper. When you get into using these detail brushes, and I had to use this a lot in this one, it's really hard to go straight when you've got such a textured paper. So